Good evening, sir.
My name is Maureen and I'm calling from Senator Kennedy's headquarters. Could you please
Okay, fine. Thank you, sir. Have a very nice evening.
Please ask us.
Okay, good night.
You know, people are voting on Tuesday.
Hello, is this Angela?
Okay, thank you.
Angela, my name is Dawn
Thank you.
Garifar. I'm calling from Senator Kennedy's office. We're calling in the city of Philadelphia this next couple of days to see how people feel about Senator Kennedy's election. And I was wondering if I could ask you if you or anyone in your family is going to vote for the Senate.
Hi, is this the borough resident?
Hi, is this the Doherty residence? The Doherty residence? Am I speaking to Teresa? Hi, Teresa. I'm calling from Senator Edward Kennedy's office. How are you this evening?
Hi, is this the
That's good. I'm calling to remind you Tuesday is election day. Had you planned on voting?
headquarters?
Great. Will it be for Ted Kennedy?
Kennedy's office.
Fantastic. You know, Ted's going to be in town on Monday, if you're interested, downtown at 15th and Chestnut Streets
Okay, thank
at 12 o'clock noon. Try and get out there and see him, all right?
Are they planning on
Thank you
voting
very
for
much.
Ted? I'm calling from Ted
Bye-bye.
Kennedy's office. Do you know if you're planning on voting for
Success.
Ted?
Threats making your contact with the men and the women in the army. Somebody got bad ears. The threat is making a comeback. Don't you put the men and women in the army? Know what's going on? Are you after me again? The draft is making a comeback. Didn't you realize that, Ben?
I've already served mine.
Good, I know, but you've got your son. How about your son? How about your daughters? They're taking your sons and daughters. Come on, take these. You'll be on TV. Don't you see they're taking a TV pictures? Take one.
Hello, is this Mrs. Joy? This is Dawn Garifar from Senator Kennedy's office. You certainly could. You could just tell me what you called, and then we'll have to remind you on Tuesday. Okay? Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hi, is this the Solvenci residence? May I speak to Jean, please? Yes. Okay, may I ask who I'm speaking to, please? Hi, Ernest. My name's Noreen, and I'm calling from Senator Kennedy headquarters. And I'm calling to remind you that Tuesday's the primary. Will you be getting out to vote? May I ask if you'll be supporting Senator Kennedy?
Hi, my name is...
Okay, Ernest, and I'd also like to remind you that the senator will be in town on Monday, and he'll be on the corner of Chestnut and 15th Street at noontime. No? Okay, thank you very much, and the senator appreciates your support. Bye-bye.
Hello? We don't have to listen.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that.
How's the other voice? How about if I have someone call me and let you know? Okay? On Monday? On Monday. Right.
Hello, is Julius, Anthony, or Angelina Cavalier in, please?
Okay, we'll let you know that. Thank you very much.
My name is Agnes Ricco, and I'm calling from Senator Kennedy's office. I'm Agnes Ricco, and I'm calling from Senator Kennedy's office. Oh, I don't have one, sir. I'm calling to find out how people feel about the senator. Are you planning on voting Tuesday? Yes. You are. Are you planning on voting for the senator? Oh, I'm so happy to, for Senator Kennedy. Okay, fine, sir. And what about the rest of your family? What about the rest of your family? I see. Okay. Well, I wouldn't... Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Kennedy's later. Hello, Ed Misvinsky, candidate for the United States Senate. Yes, because he's the smartest man for the job, the best educated. It could. We need more people like Ed Misvinsky.
How many are running?
8 candidates on the Democratic side. Well, we're going to do it. Thank you.
Yeah, my name is Ellen Crichton. Okay. Viola, this is Ellen Crichton, and I'm calling from Senator Kennedy's office. I'm calling from Senator Kennedy's office. No, Senator Kennedy's office. Yes, it is. I'm calling to find out if you plan on voting on Tuesday. The primary is on Tuesday. Do you think you and Fred will go out and vote? Pardon me? He has to go to work? Let's see. I'm not sure where it is. I can find out for you.
Is this Mr. Marinelli? Marinelli? Hi, look, I'm sorry to bother you. My name is Joe Casey, and I'm calling from Senator Kennedy.
I'm calling from Senator Kennedy's office.
Okay.
Senator Kennedy. And now we're wondering if you could send me support and to the primary. You're on the primary. Do you know about the railroad?
Hello, is Ms. Drummond there?
Yes, sir. Look, I'm very
Yes,
sorry
speaker,
to bother
please.
you. My name is Joe Casey. I'm calling from Senator Kennedy's headquarters. And I'm just calling to remind people that Tuesday is primary day and asking if we can...
Hello, Ms. Drummond. This is Michael Jones from the Kennedy campaign. We're calling to ask whether you consider supporting Senator Kennedy on Tuesday.
Philadelphia on Monday at 12 o'clock.
Fine, thank you very much. We'll appreciate your
And if you haven't
support.
made up your mind by then, we hope
Bye
you come
now.
down and listen to what he has to say.
What is this? Let me get out of
I don't know. I think we're waiting for someone.
Are you here because you're supporting Ted Kennedy, or are you just interested in what's going on?
I'm just interested in what's going on.
Who's going to win the election tomorrow?
I have no idea.
You going to vote?
Oh, yes.
What kind of a campaign has it been here in Pennsylvania?
Very active this last week. It's just started to heat up over the last week.
Can you remember other campaigns in the past and whether this was more active or less active?
Pretty active. I'd say
primary,
more active than the campaigns in the past, yes.
Has it been a fair campaign?
I think so. I think so.
Different than years, a couple years ago? Or?
Yes, I think so.
You made up your mind who you're going to vote for?
Yes.
Who is it going to be?
I won't disclose that.
Okay. How about you, sir? Do you know who you're going to vote for?
Sure, I'm going to vote for Reagan.
What are you here to? Is this kind of like coming to see what the enemy
Part of
looks
the
like?
circus.
Part of the circus?
Yes.
Thank you.
Where are you guys from?
Excuse me, sir. Can we ask you why you're here at the rally?
See Kennedy.
Are you here as a supporter or just interested?
Little of both. It's more against Carter.
Think you're going to be voting tomorrow?
Yes, definitely.
And you made a decision on who you're going to vote for?
Bush.
You're going to vote for Bush?
Yes.
So you're a Republican?
Yes.
Have there been other rallies like this during the campaign?
Not here. I've seen Bush's televised things, but nothing really on this scale.
Does this kind of thing change people's votes?
I think most of the people are here for the good times, a little lunch break diversion.
Carter's a born-again liar! Officer, move! Officer, move! He's coming! He's coming! He's coming! Kennedy's out! Come on, Ted! It's your time!
Over there.
We go back with Jimmy Carter! Listen, get him to the White House! Get him to the White House! Carter to the peanut farm! Now send Carter to the Iran! Send Carter to Iran!
We want Kennedy.
Yeah, send Carter to Iran!
The next president of the United States. That's Kennedy. The next president of the United States. That's Kennedy.
Carter created the Iran crisis his own self. Trying to get the sentiment of the American people on his side so he could be reelected, but we ain't going for it. This is Kennedy's territory. Come on, Ted! He's tipping toe through the rose garden, that's all he's doing. We don't want to Green is mean, he's with the people team.
We want the hostages home, and he can do it. He can bring them back home.
How you doing?
Ladies and gentlemen and children, we want to welcome you to the Van Bitter Memorial Hall to hear our Senator Ted Kennedy and our next President of the United States. First, we want to apologize that more people couldn't get into this hall because this is the first time that we knew that there was a law that limited the amount of people that can congregate in a hall, and the fire marshal has put restrictions on us. And that's why some of the people are standing outside and couldn't get into this hall. Next, I want to tell you, 21 years ago, another Kennedy stood on this podium and at this electrum to kick off a campaign for another Kennedy, John Kennedy, who was the President of the United States, and I have photographs here to prove for it, and we hope that this is going to be the lucky spot and a turnover for Ted Kennedy. Pennsylvania will do it for Ted this time. Without any further, I'm going to turn over the program to our permanent chairman, our district director, Paul McHale of District 9, United Steelworkers of America. Mr. McHale.
Thank you, President Kayak. We also have other responsible unions who are participating in this effort here this afternoon. We have the retail clerks, the machinists, the postal workers, the state AFL-CIO, and the automobile workers, and of course, our own and fine, as I like to refer to them, the best union in the world, the United Steelworkers of America. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank very much the members of the clergy. I felt real good. I was able to sit between three Monsignors today. And I hope my wife appreciates that. I'm trying. I'd also like to thank our very distinguished legislators who are here, both from the state level and from the level in Washington, D.C., who've taken the time to come out here to be with us today, and to all of the dignitaries from the local government, to the mayor and to his group, and to the councilman of the city for coming out. And I won't bore you with any 4-hour speech that I had prepared, because the senator has a very limited amount of time. But I would like to just say in passing, that is indeed an honor and a privilege for me to introduce a man who was not afraid to come out into the public and present his platform. And I talk about none other than a great friend of labor's, Senator Ted Kennedy.
Thank you very much, President McHale, President Keok. Oh, everybody up here is a president of some union, except old Kennedy. And we're going to change that after the Pennsylvania primary. Or a Monsignor. Let me just say what a pleasure it is to be with all of you. And just coming into this hall, we saw some Carter supporters out there. And you know what we did? We invited them to come into our rally. Wasn't that nice of us? We invited them to come to our rally because they haven't got a rally to go to of their own. And after the Pennsylvania primary, a message will be sent down to that Rose Garden to tell Jimmy that the presidency of the United States doesn't belong to Jimmy Carter, it belongs to the American people and the people of Pennsylvania. And my friends, you cannot stay in that Rose Garden for the last 5.5 months and understand the real anguish and pain that's being experienced by the people here in Pennsylvania and across this country, by steel workers who have been laid off and cannot find jobs, from the various plants that have been closed down in that industry. You can't stay there in Washington, D.C. and understand what is the real fact of the matter. And nothing could be clearer, my friends, in making that point than this afternoon's Pittsburgh Press headlines that says, "No suffering in steel industry," U.S. aid says. The principal advisor for President Carter, Council on Economic Advisors, saying that there is no problem with the steel industry in Pennsylvania. And so, don't you think he ought to come on out and talk to some of the workers who have lost their jobs, some of the wives, some of the families who have been made unemployed? If he's got that kind of idea about the steel industry, I say he better come to Pennsylvania and answer the questions of many of the steel workers. You know, my friends, I was there in the Congress of the United States at the time that we passed the trigger price mechanism in order to try and assure that the free enterprise system was going to be able to function and work, and that Japan and Western Europe were not going to dump their steel products here in the United States. The steel workers of this country are prepared to compete in productivity and production with any country in the world, but not when they're being subsidized by those governments. And so we saw the effective fashioning and shaping of a trigger price mechanism in order to protect the industry from unwarranted and unfair dumping from Japan and from other countries around the world. And that was implemented with a great cheers by this administration just a few years ago. And it was in 1978 that President Carter said in Aliquippa, Pennsylvania, in September 23rd, on this very subject of trigger price, and I quote, "We put into effect, as you know, a trigger price system to stop dumping. And as long as I'm president, we won't have any worry about that anymore." That is what President Carter promised to the members of the United Steel Workers of America and to the people of Pennsylvania. And that pledge and that promise has been broken, my friends, and it has been broken in a way which I think is unfair and unwarranted and unjustified. And it has been broken, I think, in a way which is not greatly dissimilar from what we saw recently at the United Nations in the area of foreign policy. This administration was a little upset by the settlements in the West Bank. And you know what they did? They said, "We're going to teach one of our allies a powerful lesson, and we're going to vote in the United Nations for a resolution to undermine one of the strong allies of the United States, the State of Israel." And then after they cast that vote, and they got all the political implications and ramifications, they said that that was all a mistake. Now we have found that one of the industries, one of the steel industries, believes that the Europeans are dumping in the United States, and therefore they're challenging that export fact and the fact that the steel is being brought here to the United States. And this administration has said, well, you just can't do that. If you are going to do it, we're going to take away the trigger price mechanism. Well, I think it's interesting for us to look at what was actually said at the time that they passed the trigger price mechanism. And at the time of the signing of that particular proposal, Anthony Solomon, who was the architect of that proposal, said, "The trigger price mechanism does not detract from any of the legal rights that the domestic industry presently enjoys under the existing statutes." That means if the European countries were going to dump here in the United States and deprive steel workers of their jobs, then the industry could bring those cases and bring those suits. That was the understanding of the members of Congress. The trigger price mechanism was put in place to expedite dumping from Japan. But still, if there was going to be dumping from Western European countries, the industry was not going to be denied the opportunity to protect the jobs of the steelworkers. But what has the Carter administration said? Okay, if you're going to bring a dumping charge, we're going to take away your trigger price mechanism. I say that that is wrong, my friends. It's wrong policy, it's wrong economic policy, and it's an inhumane policy to protect the jobs of the steelworkers in Pennsylvania. And I think you know that, and I know it as well.
Get Carter out of here, you stink! Get Carter out of here!
We're placing a great deal of emphasis on the campaign here in Pennsylvania. As you know, the national press is going to be looking closely at the results here, because not only are the physical number of delegates at stake here, the winner will come away with really a psychological edge going into the primaries in California, Missouri, New Jersey, and Ohio. And so it's going to be quite an important contest, both nationally and from our point of view.
President Kennedy. Good luck, President Kennedy. Buena suerte. Right.
Well, I haven't seen the latest polls, but I haven't, from the results in other states, I've learned not to trust the polls, but I'd like to come away with a win.
Listen, George, thanks a lot. Good to see you. Thanks again.
How do you like campaigning for your uncle?
Oh, I've found it really an educational process, from Iowa back to Maine and New Hampshire and, of course, Illinois and New York. It's been very interesting for me, meeting all the people and getting out and around.
Ed, thanks a lot. I guess we're going to run. Are we all set? Yeah. I just get in and they get fine. Thank you very much. Good to see you. Thanks very much. Let's go!
Watch your arm.